CJ Flyer back with the Fire, another YouTube video. So the 2024 NBA Finals are starting today on June 6th, 2024. Boston Celtics versus my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks, with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. The revenge tour against the Boston Celtics, his former team. There's a lot of crazy narratives going into this series. And you know, earlier, about a couple months ago, we did a video in which we used NBA 2K to simulate the 2024 NBA playoffs. And I figure why not bring that back and simulate the NBA Finals series. However, instead, we're not going to simulate it just once. We're not going to simulate it just twice. We're actually going to simulate this thing 5 times and see what the outcome is every single one of these 5 times. And we'll see which team comes out on top amongst all of these simulations. And when I say simulate 5 times, I mean we're simulating the whole series 5 separate times to see what is the most likely outcome according to NBA 2K. Now, of course, if we look back at the simulating the 2024 NBA playoffs video, a couple things to note. One, we had the play-in team matchups versus the 1 and 2 seeds in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals swapped. That is because at the time, the Los Angeles Lakers were currently in the 8 seed and the Pelicans were in the 7 seed. However, just because of how the play-in games turned out, it ended up being that the Pelicans faced the Thunder, the Lakers faced the Nuggets. And then on the flip side, when we did that simulating video, the Heat were playing the Knicks and the Boston Celtics were playing the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, what's interesting is, of course, it assumed that the Los Angeles Clippers, assumed Kawhi was fully healthy, and with the Miami Heat, assumed that Jimmy Butler is fully healthy. And we had some very interesting outcomes and actually resulted in the Los Angeles Clippers and the Cleveland Cavaliers meeting in the NBA Finals. And the Celtics and Mavs both didn't even make the conference finals in that simulation. So obviously 2K doesn't always get it right. But again, there's some factors in there like injuries that, they couldn't exactly predict. So now that we have this finals series, fingers crossed no injuries happen to either team. But let's just see what the outcome is. In the first simulation, Luka Doncic winning the Finals MVP, 37.7 points per game, triple-double every single game, or at least he's averaging a triple-double every game with 2 steals per game too. Man, that is really nice. The Mavericks ended up winning in 6. And if we look at the margin of victory here, Mavs took game 1 by 9 points. Wow, they won both of the first 2 games on the road in Boston. That is insane. Won the second game by 12 points. Although I guess that is somewhat realistic because in real life, Boston's been playing better on the road than at home. And Dallas has definitely, they weren't able to close out against the Timberwolves in Game 4 to get the sweep, and they ended up destroying the Timberwolves on the road in Game 5. So I guess it actually is somewhat realistic that, the road team won a number of these games. As we see in Game 3 in Dallas, the Celtics won by 7, 134 to 127, and won Game 4, 126 to 114, a 12-point margin of victory. So in the first 4 games, similar to that Timberwolves-Nuggets series in the Western Conference semifinals, the road team won every single game. And then, of course, in Game 5 back in Boston, the Mavericks go up 3-2. They win on the road by 14 points, 129 to 115. And then Game 6, they get a nail-biter win to win the NBA Finals, 108 to 105 in Dallas. The other top scorer for the Mavs, of course, was Kyrie Irving with 26 points per game, shooting over 50% from the field. PJ Washington also having stellar performances, averaging 12 points per game. Gafford and Lively, as you'd expect, both racking up rebounds and blocks. The Celtics' top scorers, Jaylen Brown, who sustained a right hip injury. However, he was able to play through it, averaging 28 points per game. Jason Tatum, 26 points per game. And Porzingis, who's coming back from injury and is expected to play in Game 1 today at the time this video is being uploaded, 14.7 points per game. On to simulation number 2, and it's once again the Dallas Mavericks winning this one in 5 with Luka averaging another triple-double and 36 points per game. Not nearly as many steals in this one, but still making the huge contribution and winning the Finals MVP. Boston won Game 1 by an enormous margin, 144 to 121, with Porzingis, Brown, and Derek White and Drew Holiday all averaging 20 plus points And Jason Tatum just short of the 20-point mark, but nonetheless making the huge contribution with 13 rebounds and 4 assists. The leading scorer for the Mavs in that Game 1 loss was P.J. Washington, shooting 10 of 16 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3 with 25 points. However, of course, as we've seen, the Mavericks bounce back, and oh man, what a performance by Dallas in Game 2 to win 141-129 on the road. Luka with 48 points, Kyrie with 43, two teammates in the NBA Finals, both getting 40-plus points. Tatum also having a 40-plus point game in this Game 2 performance. Game 3 in Dallas, and the Mavericks won this one by 13. It looks like Porzingis was the leading scorer for the Celtics. Tatum and Brown also getting 20 points or more. However, it's not enough, as Luka and Kyrie both getting 30-plus points in that game. Luka with an insane triple-double stat line. In Game 4, Luka again making huge contributions in the rebound and assist columns. Kyrie with 42 points. Tatum with 32. Holiday with 29. Where in the world is Jaylen Brown? He only shot 2 of 3? He only played 8 minutes. Jaylen Brown must have gotten injured at some point. And yeah, sure enough, if we go to Game 5, Jaylen Brown is not in the lineup, so that is probably what contributed to the Mavs being able to pull away, as in the closeout game to win the NBA Finals, Luka with 52 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists to take home the trophy. And sure enough, in Game 4, Jaylen Brown sustained a pulled lower back muscle, out for the season. Very unfortunate for Boston. And this is of both simulations so far, Jaylen Brown has sustained some kind of injury. Hopefully that is not a sign of things to come in real life. Simulation number 3, and this time it's the Boston Celtics getting their first win in one of these simulations. Luka still gets the Finals MVP. He averaged 40 points per game, 7 rebounds, 9.5 assists, 2 steals, shooting over 50% from 3. That is an amazing stat line, but not enough to get the job done, as in Game 1 in Boston, the Celtics run away with it with a 30-point lead. And I just have to comment, these games are very high scoring compared to the performances that we are seeing in real life in the playoffs, and I'm not sure 2K is taking into account the physicality of the play and the no calls from the referees that happen in these games, because my goodness, have we seen either of these teams get up to 140 points in any of these playoff games? I'm not sure that we have, outside of maybe the first round with the Celtics. Game 2, another Dallas loss, and I mean, look, the scoring performances are not very high. It's really just the Celtics supporting cast outscored the Dallas Mavericks role players. If you look at it, Luka and Kyrie, they both, they didn't shoot bad. They didn't shoot great. It was okay. They shot bad from 3, that's for sure. Kyrie 2 of 9, Luka 3 of 10, and Derrick Jones Jr. 2 of 7 from 3. PJ 1 of, yeah, that was bad 3-point shooting by the Dallas Mavericks. And the Celtics did enough to squeak by with the win, 116-107. If we go on, I believe I was looking at Game 5 first. No, I wasn't. Hold on. I was looking at Game 6 first. I read the Game 6 stat line as if it was Game 1. Okay, rewind here. Game 1 was where they squeaked by. Game 2, that is a very high-scoring game from both teams. Luka, the only one to get over 20 points in that game. Derrick Jones Jr. had 20. Kyrie only had 18. And again, Luka had some very high-scoring numbers, but the rest of the team, not exactly so hot. I mean, Kyrie did get 30 points in this one. In Game 3, this one was a victory by 7 points. Game 4, yeah, there you go. Kyrie with a 33-point performance. Luka with 42. What were the Celtics doing here? They lost by 1 here, but I mean, great stat line from those guys. Game 5, Luka with 59 points in an 18-point loss. You can't. My goodness, 160 points from the Celtics. Hold on. 160 points. 39 from Porzingis. 33 from Holiday. 31 from Tatum. Did Brown get injured again? Is this just inevitable? Like, what? Hold on. Brown got injured again. Twisted right knee, out for the season. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I guess you can. 2K is making it up. But really? Brown, in 3 simulations so far, he's gotten injured, out for the series, every single one. I guess the first series he wasn't out for the series. He was playing through the injury. But he's gotten an injury that will last the remainder of the series. Every single one of these simulations so far. I hope that doesn't happen. And you might be wondering why I'm saying that, because I'm a Mavs fan. I want the Mavs to win. But I always hate when, the best player on the other team is out or not at full strength. I want to see both teams go head-to-head full strength. That's why, that Clippers series in round one, I think the Mavs could have still pulled it off if Kawhi was able to play every game. But, unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. And, even with Kawhi out, you can make the argument Luka was not playing fully healthy either. His knees, I feel like they bleed at least once a game at this point. It's very disturbing to watch, and it's very impressive that he's able to play through it. But all right, I'm off my high horse now talking about the Mavericks. Let's get back to these simulations. Simulation number 4, and it's the Mavericks taking home another one, winning this one in 6. Luka averaging a triple-double again, similar to the first simulation we did, 37.7 points per game. 1 steal per game, and he is shooting 43% from 3. If we start taking a look at these games, Game 1 on the road, Dallas wins by 7, 139 to 132. Jaylen Brown, the leading scorer for the Boston Celtics with 32 points. Kyrie, the leading scorer for the Mavs with 34. And Luka getting 31, 13, and 13 in a victory on the road. Game 2. Also a victory on the road, winning 141 to 131. Kyrie with 45, Luka with 44, 13, and 13. How did the Celtics do in comparison? They scored a lot too. Again, I don't see this happening in real life. I don't think 2K is really taking into account how the games are actually called in real life in the playoffs. But nonetheless, this is what we got. The Mavericks, wow, they went up 3-0. Incredible. 3-0 at home. Luka with 39 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists. Kyrie with 37. Every game's been a 30-plus pointer from these two, right? We look at the Celtics. Jason Tatum with 33. It looks like Brown has not gotten injured yet at this point. Does he get injured in this series? We'll see in a second here. Game 4, Boston blows out Dallas in Dallas. Brown with 34. Tatum with 30. And then how did Dallas do this? Okay, so finally, one of Luka or Kyrie misses the 30-point mark. Luka getting 29, 10, and 11. Game 5 back in Boston, and the Celtics win by 8. Tatum with 38 points in this one. Luka with 44, 8, and 9. Kyrie with 27. The stars are showing up in every single one of these games. And then Game 6 back in Dallas, and the Mavericks win by 3 at home. A nail-biter. Jaylen Brown did not get injured. He played through all of it. 40 points in this performance in Game 6. And the rest of the Celtics team did not show up. Tatum, oh man. Oh, that's a stinker. 3 of 11 from the field. 1 of 6 from 3. 8 points. When was the last time Tatum only scored 8 points? I mean, let's just start scrolling through these recent games. I guess he had a few low-scoring games earlier in the playoffs in round 1 and round 2 against Miami and Cleveland. Beyond that, anything below 10? I feel like he hasn't done that in such a long time. There you go. January 11th at Milwaukee. He only played 16 minutes. Did he get hurt that game? Hard to say, but he only played 16 minutes. He had 7 points. I don't know that we can really count that. I'm looking for one where he played minimum of 24 minutes, and I don't think it exists. I don't think he's done that. Maybe, I mean, it's had to have been a long time since he's done that. Luka had 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists in this closeout victory to win the NBA Finals. PJ with 20. Kyrie only had 13 points. He had a pretty awful performance by his standards as well. Good thing Tatum was not up to par either. And Derek Lively, beautiful game. 6 of 7 from the field, 12 points, 7 rebounds, and a steal. The 5th and final simulation of the NBA Finals that we are going to do, and it's the Mavericks again in 5. Unbelievable. Luka, another 30-plus point triple-double per game with at least 1 steal per game. 53.7% from 3. How did this all play out? Going to Game 1, oh man, I can't even imagine the backlash that the Celtics would be getting if this happened in Game 1. I don't think any diehard Celtics fans would be too surprised if Boston loses Game 1, considering how much better they've been playing on the road this season than at home. But 152 to 106, I'm not sure about that. Luka with a 56-point triple-double, 19 assists. Kyrie with 30. PJ with 22. Do I need to say anything else? How did Lively only have 4 points and 4 rebounds? That's the surprise in all of this. Game 2, the Celtics bounce back, winning by 7. Jason Tatum with 37 points in this one. Kyrie with 38. Luka, a very low-scoring game by his standards. And Derek Lively bounces back, getting 10 and 10. Game 3 in Dallas. Jaylen Brown with a 36-point game. Tatum with a 29-point game. Where are the Mavericks? Luka with a 31-point performance. Kyrie 27. Gafford. Oh man, this is a legacy game for Gafford. 23 points, 8 rebounds, a steal and 2 blocks. That's a great game from him. Lively not doing a whole lot, surprisingly, based on what we've seen in real life in the playoffs so far. He is going to be a key contributor in this final series in real life. Mark my words. Game 4, Dallas wins this one. Luka with the 36-point triple-double. Kyrie with 28. And where are the Celtics here? They had 4 guys scoring 20-plus points, but it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough, man. That is crazy. Wow, very top-heavy performances there as the Mavericks win by 6. And then in Game 5, the closeout game, Kyrie getting full revenge on the Boston crowd with a 52-point performance. 18 of 23 from the field. Luka with 38 points, 11 rebounds, 18 assists, and 4 steals. Ooh, man, that would be something else. Especially with Brown and Tatum each getting 30 plus. Again, these scoring numbers are just unrealistically high in my expectations for what we'll see in real life in this final series. But that is it for the 5 simulations. Let me know what you think. Is 2K going to be right? Are the Dallas Mavericks going to win the NBA Finals? They have them winning in 4 out of the 5 simulations. Do you think Jaylen Brown's going to get injured like he did in 3 of the 5 simulations? Personally, I think the Mavericks can definitely pull it out, but I think it's going to take a minimum of 6 games for them to do so. A lot will be riding on injury troubles, as you know these playoff series always do. But I think the key difference will really be, is Lively actually healthy enough to play in all of these games? Is his neck, is it in good enough condition as they seem to say it is for now? Like, he seems to be okay, but that hit he took in Game 4 against the Timberwolves, that was hard to watch. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Looking forward to a great final series, win or lose. I'm glad that Mavericks made it here and proved the doubters wrong. And I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.